Almost done, guys? We'll give 2 more minutes. Okay, so your 5-year goals should be in alignment with your someday goals. So that's 5 years from today. What do I need to do or accomplish in order to hit my someday goals? Right? Anybody want to share?
The 5-year?
Yeah.
I want to start having passive income so I can not be working and still making money at that time.
Okay. And what does that look like?
That looks like me owning some property and having a bunch of rental properties in my head.
Okay, what does a bunch look like?
6.
Okay. And where are those 6 located?
Here on Maui.
Okay, 6. And how much do they cost?
That's a great question. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I think we got to get really granular on what that looks like. And the reason for that is if we're not clear, hard to hit that goal, right?
Yeah.
If we're not clear.
Yeah, you're right.
Because then it might be, well, geez, how much money do I have to make today or this year or next year to get my 5-year goal of owning 6 properties that are worth, what is $400,000 each? That's, $2.4 million of asset. How much money do I have to make in order to be able to put down? Because you're not going to probably buy that in cash, or are you? It depends, right? So then, you see what I mean? Then that's being in relationship with your goals. What most people do is throw a dart out there and they stick it on the wall, and they wonder why I don't get there. It's because we're not real clear where that dart is located. We don't know what it looks like. And so that's a common question we always ask in coaching is, tell me what that looks like. More specifically, what does it look like? Where are those things going to be located? And sure, you want to have 6 properties, but how much money does that actually net you at the end of the day? Will that be in alignment with your someday goals? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So we got to get really clear on, if I want to have $100,000 of passive income, and I'm thinking, okay, well, it'll come in 5 properties, so that means I need to have $20,000 each of net profit off each one of these. So how do I get to that $20,000 of net profit each? Right? How much money does it have to make versus my income and expenses? What is my net operating income at that for each one of those? Now we're being really clear on what that could look like. And that'd be the thing that, I'd be happy to work with you on, just trying to bring clarity.
I appreciate you.
Being clear with that.
Okay.
Because I'm saying it's real, and I'm saying it's doable, but we got to be clear on that, because if not, maybe our actions today aren't big enough, right, to get there.
Yeah.
So there are a couple of, I just want to add to that. Gary always talks about, he says, think big, go small. Think big, go small. So your someday is a big goal, right? Then you have to go small into the detail. Okay, what are the things that I need to do to get there? So think big and then go small. You want to add to that? Think big, go small.
Small meaning detail, small means specific. Right? Small meaning, okay, tell me exactly what that looks like. And that's where people get a little blurry-eyed, honestly. We do. For us in the area of health, what does that look like? Going small is, I gotta get to Costco. Well, first thing is I gotta clear out my refrigerator with all the junk that's in there and throw it away and be okay with throwing it away, because that's money, right? I'm throwing away money. The next thing in going small is, I gotta get to Costco before they close, and this is what I'm gonna buy. That's going small to get to the disease-free someday. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So think big, go small. As detailed as you can possibly ever imagine. Because without the detail, guys, it's a wish. It's really not a plan. Yeah, it's a hope and a wish.
And be specific and measurable, so you ask, okay, how many and where are they gonna be? And the clearer you can see it in your mind, the more likely it's gonna happen. Yeah. So here's another thing that the class talked about. It says, my writing is horrible, so I apologize. But ability to ask great questions and ability to find great answers. So it's all about asking yourself good questions. So I'll give you an example. Like if the question is, what are we having for dinner? How great would you say on this scale of any question you could ask anybody where that would fall? I'd say it's probably here. What are we having for dinner? Okay, so your answer.
By the way, I ask that a lot.
He does, every morning, he asks us in the morning, it's like, oh, I don't know, you
I'm
gotta
trying to
get
plan
to lunch. Okay, so then you go this way and you go, okay, so that's about the kind of answer you're gonna get. So that's as big, the question is, it's not a very big question, you're not gonna get a very big answer. If you say, okay, what is my GCI or what is my net profit for my business gonna be? Okay, that's maybe here, and so you kind of go, you correlate it. Okay, that's the kind of answer you're gonna get. So you start asking the bigger questions, what kind of answers are you gonna get? So it's all in the question that you ask yourself along the way. So think big, but then start with the small and ask yourself the questions along the way. What does it look like? How many is that? How do I need to get there?
Along the same lines, it's whatever your someday goal is, the bigger your someday goal is, the bigger your actions have to be. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah, bigger actions have to be. So along the same lines of this chart, if you were to take, what is this? Time. So this is time. And this is actions. So if my goal over time is, I just want to do, this is a goal, not time, so I'm doing a goal, sorry. My goal is to do 10 transactions. Right? Well, this is the level of activity I need to do, right? To get to my 10 transactions. Well, what if I say, well, no, I actually want to do 100 transactions. And that was us. 3 years ago, our goal was to do 100 transactions. Like, back when we said that, and we put a stake in the sand, nobody actually did it, right? Nobody did 100 transactions. So there's 100 out here. What do my actions have to be here relative to my actions here? Much bigger. I got to take bigger actions, right, to get to my bigger goal. Or I can take an easier path, have a smaller goal. Obviously, I don't have to work as hard. I don't have to be as smart. I don't have to be as efficient. I don't have to plan this out so well. Right? But getting to here, yeah, you need some big plans. Right?
And our goal for 2020?
What is it? 200 units.
230.
230. When did this change?
This morning.
Well, what is she doing to us? 230 units. Okay. That's outrageous. People don't do that. This year we'll close 152 this year.
Oh, maybe it's 200, 130 million.
Yeah, it's 200 units. The goal is 200 units. Calm down. We did 152 this year. We'll close by 152, which is more than you could. See, I didn't even imagine that because I had a big goal of 100, and then we just blew past it in 3 years, right? Because we had bigger actions. We said, okay, we got to change the way we're doing things. If we want to have this kind of goal and result, well, then we got to do things differently. We can't do it the same way. Got to be different.
Like I remember taking a class from you 3 years plus ago.
Right.
And what your goals from like 4 million to 25 million,
Right.
and then now, so it's proof is in the pudding. Whatever the system is that you're using is
Exactly. A lot of that's planning, clarity on steps of the actions to take, and then executing it on a daily basis. That's tied into your weekly basis, which is tied into your monthly, which is tied into your year, which is tied into your 5 year, to your someday. Right? They say that you're going to overestimate how quickly you're going to do something in 1 year, and you're gonna underestimate how quickly you're gonna do it in 5. That's true for us. We overestimated in the beginning, but we underestimated in the long run. And we had this vision, was it 5 years ago? 5 years ago, we took a class. It was I can't remember what the class was called. Recruit Select. I think it was Recruit Select. And they showed us a vision of Disney's world. Have you seen the image of Walt Disney's vision of his world? It was a picture of 1952. He had nothing. And this chart went like all over the place. I have it in my phone, I can show it to you. It's crazy how like, you don't even have any of this.
He had the theme parks, he had the comic, he had the
Yeah.
TV.
On his drawing, on his
of
vision. And so what they told us is to have a vision. So what we did is we drew it out. She and I sat down for about an hour, and we drew out what we wanted our world to look like in 5 years, and it showed up in 3. Everything that we drew showed up in 3 because we had a plan for it. We had a plan, and we executed on our plan. It's not hard. We're not that smart. We're not that good at this, but we're good at executing. That's what I can tell you.
And we
about it.
made tons of mistakes
Oh,
along the
yeah.
line. So many mistakes and course correction. It's just course correction. But if you never start, you're not gonna get there. You just have to start and just keep going.
Yeah, do not worry about perfection. What do they say, what was the saying that, I can't remember. It's in here.
Progress, not.
Progress, not perfection, right? You know, what they say is, all you gotta do is get better 1% a day. Just imagine if you got better 1% a day, how you would be in a year from today. You're gonna be a different person, completely different person. It's really not that hard, but we gotta take every step, every day. All right, so now that you have your 5-year goals, hopefully you have this written down. Now we're gonna take it to 1-year goal. What does your 1-year goal have to look like by the end of 2020, have to look like in order to get to your 5-year goal? Okay, now we're gonna spend 10 minutes to do that. Now this is really important. It's gotta be aligned with your someday, to your 5-year, to your 1-year. Okay, ready, set, go.
Extra handouts.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think this is the last one. Yeah. is there any- Okay, how we doing? So do we have clarity on our one-year goals? Anybody want to share?
I will.
Hey, Nancy.
I have 20 listings, and I'm gonna give this 20 listings through my database, my farm, my referrals, and my sphere of influence. I want to earn at least 275,000 GCI, and through selling 22 units at approximately 12,500 commission each. I want to save 40,000, and that would be about 2,000 for each 20 of the listings that I sold. I want to take 2 vacations, one's to California and one for my passport, to use my passport, so New Zealand, France. I want to feel better, so I want to be able to afford monthly adjustments and monthly massage, which is about $140 a month, which is money and time blocking for myself. I want to help my family be healthy and off medication, and that would be through diet and exercise. I want to recruit agents to Keller Williams for profit share. And I want to add a partner to our team.
Wonderful job.
Thank you for
Wonderful.
sharing that.
Thank you for
Thank
sharing.
you.
That's an amazing life. A small little suggestion,
Okay,
really
good.
small. Make that into today, not I want, I have.
I have.
Or I
Okay.
choose.
I choose.
Choose, okay,
Make that into today's mindset.
okay.
It's done. It's done. I have closed 20 transactions. This is the end of 2020, right? I have closed 20 transactions. I have this, I've done this. Make it into the current tense, not future, not a wish.
Okay,
Right? Because then it helps you with your mind, right? Your mind, we can trick our mind. We can trick our mind.
okay.
And,
Have.
and yeah, it's just simple, small.
And then if it is in the beginning and your mindset is I choose to have 20 listings. I choose to.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Good job, Nancy. Anybody else want to share? 1-year goals?
So I have an ultimate goal of the ultimate marriage with my wife, and my 1-year goal for that would be to stop bad rapping her under my breath in the lottery.
Bad boy.
Sounds good.
And I can break that down into a weekly and a daily goal, and it just starts out where, you just start
Absolutely.
checking off boxes, right? Today I accomplished that, and then
Yeah.
line it up. And,
What do you think is going to help you with that?
well, it's definitely mindset. There's a lot of pride involved there. I mean, that's where it always shows up is why, anytime I feel like I'm in some way dissed, that's my own personal pride popping up. And pride never leads you to the right end result, in my opinion. So,
Good, good. Self-reflection daily?
agreed.
Yeah,
And the constant reflection of that goal.
absolutely.
So it's right there.
That is cool.
Date nights.
Pretty nice, right? Make it feel special.
With no expectations.
Right, no, that's awesome. Awesome. Does this help you? Now, is your 1-year goal aligned with your 5-year goal? And is your 5-year goal aligned with your someday goal? So take a few seconds now and just kind of read through what you wrote. And let's see if we're really clear on that connection. Let's see if our 1-year goal is really tied to our 5-year goal. Well, at the end of our 1 year, end of 2020, will that be in the same direction as our 5-year goal? And is our 5-year goal in the same direction as our someday goal? Or do we go off course somewhere? So take a look, just take a few seconds, take a look at that, what you just wrote, and see if we're in real relationship with our goals.
And is that really who you are?
Yes.
Is that really with your core value, aligned with your core value?
Okay, are we closer to being in relationship with our goals? Meaning everything lining up a little better,
Yeah.
making more sense now? Okay, so now we're going to do, take it a little more detail, because what we want to do is take our 1-year goal and put it into a GPS. And a GPS, for those of you who aren't familiar, it's goals, priorities, and strategies. You have one goal. You take one of the 7 areas of your world. And so basically, if you really want to do this well, each area should have one goal, right? For your 1 year, right? And then we take your 1-year goal and we roll it into your GPS, which is one goal, 3 priorities, and 5 strategies. And basically, the way they shared that was, what happens if you put 3 big boulders in a river? The water seems to go around it. Right? The water seems to go around it. That's the same thing in your world, is what are the 3 things, if you can only pick 3 things in order for you to hit your goal that you have to do, but if you do them, you're gonna hit your goal, what are those 3 things? Then we take those 3 things, those priorities, and we say, based on each priority, what are my 5 strategies that are gonna help me execute on that? Be able to knock out all of my priorities, right? So that's what we're going to do now. Now, keep in mind, they have to be SMART goals, and we wrote this up here just so it reminds you, many of you already know what it is. SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So we have to be very specific on what that looks like and when. And it has to be achievable. Okay. Can I actually do this? You don't want to put dreams out there and not be able to execute on it, right? You want to be able to make it something where you can actually execute on it, and very specific, measurable steps to get there. Right? So now what we want to do is we want to take and build your GPS. You actually have a handout, I believe. Yep. It gives you an example. Yes. Oh, they didn't wipe that out. Priority 2, this was already in there. You can wipe those priority 2s out and make whatever you want it to be on the strategies. But right now what we want to do is allow you some time to build your GPS if you haven't had one yet. And if you have one, take a look at what it currently is and see if now it's in alignment with your goals. Right?
So do you actually recommend a GPS for all 7 areas?
Yes. Yeah. 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 Oh yeah. Well, again, we're trying to create a roadmap, right?
Right.
How to get to every area of your life. So this is like a couple of days of just alone time, right? And so part of planning you're going to find is really stepping away from the world and diving deep into what it should look like. It's hard to do that with the noise. You can't multitask this thing. It doesn't work. Right? You can't do it while you're trying to do a transaction. You can't do stuff like that. You've got to be intentional about planning and block it out and be away from everything and do it. So now we're going to just take one area and we're going to put a GPS to it. If possible, you want to pick probably your business or your job, because that's something we can all dive into today together and mastermind on how do we actually get there and execute on it. Okay. So let's spend some time to work on our GPS. One goal of your business, 3 big priorities. What are the 3 big areas you have to really knock out of the park to get to your goal? There's only 3. Okay? So we'll spend like 10 minutes to work on that.
What's your folks' goal?
You'll see it in a minute.
Oh, awesome.
You'll see our GPS.
Can she turn that off?
Oh, can you turn that down?
Thanks.
Can you do that?